Hey everyone, and welcome back to this explainer for the flow state. I am so pumped you're hanging out with us today. Look, we're diving into a topic that at first glance might seem super simple, but it actually holds a ton of depth, history, and, you guessed it, mindfulness. Today, we're unpacking the mindful art of paper folding. And though we're not just talking about those crazy complex origami swans, right? We're talking about the everyday, deeply satisfying act of folding a simple letter and crafting your own envelopes. So think about it for a second. When was the last time you sent an actual physical letter? Seriously, in our hyper-connected world, we're just constantly bombarded by digital screens, instant messages, and endless email threads 24/7. It's exhausting. The lost art of the physical letter gives us this increasingly rare, perfect tactile escape. It literally demands our physical presence, forcing us to slow down, unplug from the digital noise, and actually engage our hands in a deliberate analog process. Section 1. Entering the analog flow, the tactile satisfaction of paper craft. Section 2. Professional letter folding etiquette, the foundation of the perfect fit. Okay, let's dive into this. You might think folding a business letter is just about cramming paper into a sleeve, but there's a real etiquette to it, and getting this right is the absolute bedrock of a flawless presentation for your recipient. Here's the standard method broken down. First, put your signed, proofread letter face up on the table. You want to visualize the paper in thirds. Take the bottom third and fold it up, making absolutely sure your outside edges are perfectly aligned so you don't get a wonky crease. Next, you take the top third and fold it down. Now here's the kicker. Do not fold it all the way flush with the bottom crease. You actually want to leave about a ½ inch or 1 centimeter gap at the top. That little gap is a total game changer. It ensures a clean, straight fold and stops the paper from bunching up inside the envelope. So how do we actually put it in the envelope? Well, the golden rule here is to insert the letter so the most recent fold goes in first. You hold the envelope with the flat facing you, opening towards you. Then just slide the letter in so that the top fold, the one you literally just made, drops right into the bottom. Why does this matter? Well, it ensures the letterhead is the very first thing your recipient sees when they pull it out. If you just stuff it in backwards, they open it to a blank page or an upside-down, kind of unfriendly presentation. And we all know it's all about making a great first impression. Now let's see what happens when we switch up the envelope type. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between our standard method and what you have to do for a number 10 windowed envelope. See, a standard fold hides the text inwards for ultimate privacy. But for a windowed envelope, where the recipient's address has to peek through that clear plastic, you've got to completely flip the script and use what's called a Z-fold. The Z-fold is a little counterintuitive, so let's walk through it together carefully. First, make sure your document margins are formatted so the address sits in the right spot. Then, start with the letter face down and upside down, so the recipient's name and address are actually the closest things to you underneath the paper. You fold the top third down towards you, and then you fold the bottom third up and away from you. Boom. Now the address faces completely outwards. Sure, this definitely sacrifices the privacy of an inward fold, but it aligns the contact info perfectly for that window. Section 3. The Secretary Trifold Hack, a foolproof sousing trick. Now, if you hate visualizing thirds, or if you're dealing with an odd-sized envelope, this next trick keeps that relaxed, flowing pace we love in papercraft. I absolutely love this insight from the channel The Simple House. They said, I learned this hack from a coworker who went to secretary school. There is just something so incredibly satisfying about a trick passed down from pros who handled thousands of letters. It adds so much authority to a method that guarantees a perfect fit, totally regardless of whatever envelope size you're holding. Okay, here's how you actually pull it off. First, lay your empty envelope face up on the table with the top flap open. You're basically going to use the envelope itself as your folding guide. Take your flat piece of paper and literally seat the bottom edge right into the crease of the envelope's open flap. Then, just fold the sides of the paper over so the edges match the seams of the envelope as evenly as you can. You're just folding it to match the physical width of the envelope. Take the envelope away, sharpen those creases, and fold it into a trifold. It slides in perfectly every single time, and that slight gap at the top lets you fit multiple sheets of paper without it bulging. Brilliant, right? Section 4. DIY Origami Envelope Magic, creating beautiful things with just your hands. Sometimes you don't even have an envelope on hand, or maybe you just want to make something a bit more personal. This next level of analog creation is where you can trigger a really deep, focused flow state. Get this, 33.8 million. That is the view count on just a single TikTok video showing people how to fold a piece of paper to fit into an envelope, or even turn it into an envelope itself. It is wild. It just proves how widespread and, honestly, oddly satisfying this modern paper folding phenomenon is. People are absolutely captivated by the simple magic of folding. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer variety of viral envelope trends out there right now. People are learning Jane Austen Regency folds to recreate the romance of historical letters. They're taking 25 by 25 centimeter squares of leftover wrapping paper to craft these gorgeous full-size matching envelopes. They're incredibly clever no-glue, no-tape folds for gifting cash. And of course, there's the classic A4 printer paper origami envelope. People are enthusiastically ditching basic store-bought cards for this exact kind of tactile DIY creativity, and I am here for it. Let's walk through one of the most accessible methods out there, inspired by creator Stephanie Fernandez. Grab a standard rectangular piece of printer paper and lay it down horizontally. First, fold it in half to create a center guideline, then open it back up. Fold the two top corners down to that center line to make a triangle point at the top. Next, fold the straight sides of the paper inwards so they meet the center line. After that, take the bottom rectangular corners and fold them all the way up so they perfectly align with the bottom of your top triangle. Finally, just fold that top triangular tip down. And just like that, it has that wonderfully familiar shape of a sealed envelope. And honestly, the best part, you secured the whole thing by simply tucking that triangular tip right into the bottom insert. Absolutely no glue required. The folds naturally create this neat little pocket, making the envelope entirely self-sealing. It's such a beautiful functional detail. You can decorate the seal with die-cut stickers, use it for birthdays, or even tuck little secret notes inside. It's just a joyful tactile process from start to finish. Section 5. Stay in the flow. Keep creating, keep folding. Connecting the physical satisfaction of a perfect, crisp fold back to the mindfulness of the present moment, that is really what this is all about. Keep finding those quiet moments of analog joy. So I've got a question to leave you with today. What are you going to fold first? Are you going to try out that secretary school trifold? Or maybe give this self-sealing origami envelope a spin? I really want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your favorite hack from this explainer. And hey, if you found this journey into paper folding as incredibly satisfying as I did, please smash that like button and make sure to follow the Flow State channel so you never miss out on our mindful deep dives. Thanks so much for joining me, and as always, stay in the flow.